I'm going to do something a little differently this morning. Wayne would like to see what this practice is like, and he's in Southern California, so we're going to include it in our recording this week. So, without further ado, I will explain that we don't call it meditation anymore. It might be meditation, it might be an exercise or an experience. We're going to try different things. You never know when something's going to turn on a little light somewhere, and it might work out real well for you to maintain this relationship with the divine within. So, Natalie, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I like that vision, what this is meant to be. So, some of you were here last week, most of you were here last week for the first practice, which involved tuning in with the high spiritual heart. And I'm very curious to hear after the service during fellowship whether any of you practiced that, and if you did, how it was for you. So please come find me if you'd like to share. For today's practice, I couldn't help but feel as though somehow Kelly and I were tuned into the same intention because her mini message was very much on the same theme as what I'd like to lead us through today, which is just around clearing out and then intention, filling up. There's also something she said which I want to bring forward around taking time to look for the beauty within, something like that you said. And I just want to say I think that's really important, to touch that beauty within. It resides in the high spiritual heart, and it is our divinity. But for the practice today, I'd like to lead you through a guided meditation in which we're going to journey to a healing waterfall that I am familiar with, which carries a frequency of cleansing, releasing, rejuvenating, and also a frequency of filling up. So if you're anything like me this week, it's been a little hectic, a little crazy, a lot going on. So let's together as a community just take this opportunity to release. So just take a couple of deep breaths as you settle in to this present moment. Just returning your awareness to the ground of all being. That true nature, which is who you are underneath all the movement, all the personality, all the things to do, people to see. This ground holds you in infinite love and peace. Now, if you'll take a walk with me in your mind's eye, imagine walking through a beautiful, tropical environment, down a path of vibrant red dirt, surrounded by the sounds of tropical birds and a gentle breeze blowing. As we walk together, we can now begin to hear the sound of a waterfall. A gentle rushing noise, the flow of water. Its music reaches our ears more and more with each step we take. Already, you may begin to feel some of the burdens that you didn't realize you were carrying begin to fall away. As we come to the end of the path where it joins a little pool, and in front of you, this small yet powerful waterfall flows from a ledge into the pool, which only comes about up to your knees. And imagine now that you're just taking in this beautiful place. Divine beings are holding space here for us to let go whatever we may be carrying. It could be something really big if you're open to that. You're just going to take a few breaths as you breathe that in, and when you're ready, begin to walk into the water until you're standing right in front of the waterfall. Looking up at it, the crystal clear, beautiful water. You think how grateful you are to be here, to have this opportunity to let go. And whatever it is you think you may be ready to release, just call that to your mind now, or if you don't know, that's okay, just have that intention. You're ready to release. And when you're ready, take a moment, take a deep breath, step under that waterfall and feel the healing, cleansing water just washing over you. It's carrying all the energy that you may be ready to release down to the center of the earth to be transformed into pure love and light. Just let it keep going. Some of you, it may feel stronger, some more gentle. The intention is for you to receive exactly what you most need right now. Just knowing that it's safe to let these things go here, that you are held in love, so you can feel safe to release whatever you've been carrying. And whatever comes up in this process, just let it be there. It's all okay. You may find at a certain point that the frequency of this waterfall begins to slowly transition from a cleansing, clearing energy to a frequency of filling up. All that you release now may have left space that needs now to be filled with divine light that has an innate intelligence, knows exactly where to go, what to do, to give you what you need. Feel that light filling you up, going into all the places in your body, your mind, your soul that have needed this refreshment, this rejuvenation, this recommitting to the light. And feeling that light sealing up in your space now, providing you with a beautiful layer of energetic protection. As you come out of the pool and start down the path, just thank your divine self and your spirit guides, ancestors, for guiding you to this place and for continuing to guide you on your journey. So that you can take this place of stillness, beauty, and healing with you through the rest of your day and the rest of your week and beyond. When you're ready, come back to this place and time and open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. You took me to Akaka Falls, just north of Hilo. And I did. I walked in and I felt the water. Thank you. Well, it says here that I'm supposed to talk about what are we needing. I'm going to talk a little about some history. Vivian Clark is our Minister Emeritus, I believe that's the right word. She was our minister for 22 years. Nobody can remember exactly when she started. I think Kelly and Bonnie were both here when she did, but it was a long time ago. But when Vivian started here and took over the reins from Joel, Church of the Oaks was a congregational church. We had a congregational church hymnal. There was a 150-year-old Bible that sat on the altar, a big cross that hung from those pins. The first Sunday of every month, we had communion. We read from the scriptures every Sunday. We sang the Lord's Prayer every Sunday. None of that was bad or nasty or unholy, or none of it was a bad kind of ritual at all. But we were in the process, unbeknownst to a lot of us, of changing, of, what's the word I'm looking for? Evolving. And over that 20 years, Vivian took us from a pretty rote, dogmatic, congregational Christian church to a spiritual community dedicated and focused on learning more about the unseen and free thinking and self-examination, belief examination. And that's where we were when I took over. She did the transition. So what's my legacy going to be? I hope that we can continue to evolve. We've done some pretty amazing things these last 4.5 years. We have a lot of different things, not so much during the Sunday service, but the other factions of what we do. We have the cabaret once a month. We have our Rose Cottage is now transitional housing in partnership with COTS. We're much more fluid in our participation with places like the COTS and the Living Room and Redwood Gospel Mission and the Redwood Food Bank and NOAA Food Bank right here in Myrtle Park. We continue to support or foster or embrace, after we get back from the little COVID break, about 20 12-step and recovery groups every week. That's been ongoingly rising over the years. But I'm going to ask that, let me back up just a little bit. Last week, after our service, we went next door and we tried to have a little conversation about what we had learned about how we had changed individually due to the experiences of COVID. And I'd like to sort of continue that, because we are different, but I think maybe we'll expand that or push that on a little bit, take another step. Where do you think, what visions do you have, what ideas, what imagination do you have in ways that we could evolve and expand our awareness of spirit in our daily lives? Elevate our consciousness. Figure out ways to where we can live minute to minute more in harmony with all of the cells in our body, with the people that live next door, that live down the street, that live across this country, that live all over this planet. That harmony, I think that's a real key to the sustained being of life on this planet, is learning how to be in harmony. And I think as we sit in this room that's 12 years old, a lot of things have changed over these last 112 years. We've survived a lot of things. But I think that we're just now getting to the point where we can really discover some of the wonderful mysteries of the unseen. We've had all these years of wonderful ritual, and I don't know, affirmation and encouragement for right living, for kindness and compassion and love. I think that's been a part of a Sunday morning in this place ever since the first one. Back in 1901, down on the feed store, 1907 here. But I think I just get this feeling that we're at a pinnacle right now, a place where we can just take a few small steps and have greater understanding, greater awareness of this unseen that we call God, Spirit. Or was it Emerson or somebody? I think it was Emerson said, humanity shall cease to exist because it will be killed by civilization. How profound that might be. But our experiences over this last year, every one of us have had life-changing experience. And I wonder, when I look at my own life, how much, well, I'll use the word salvation, or how much peace or confidence did I find in my old beliefs, and how much courage and peace did I find in my awareness of the unseen, of the perpetual future of life, beyond any formula that you or I might figure out. We've got this little community here, this family. As we get back together, I think we're going to find that when we have conversations with each other, they might become a little more intimate than they were before. We might be a little bit closer friends. We might have added new value to these relationships that we have when it comes to this little family, Church of the Oaks. We might find that we can expand that type of consciousness into our larger family, in our community, and coexist here again with a little more harmony, a little more compassion, a little more understanding. I used a quote from Rumi on today's order of service, but as I was looking back through this time that all of us have had, shortly before he passed away or had his wedding with the divine, Rumi wrote a poem called The Dance. And the last stanza of that has been a favorite of mine for a long time, especially as we go through tough times, challenging times. Let's see if I can remember it. Dance when you're torn open. Dance when you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fight. Dance in your blood. And then dance in your newfound freedom. I think we can together create a spiritual community that is far more understanding, far more compassionate, that can dance in every situation, that can hold each other in the highest regard and respect, and expand this little family we have now to include more and more people as they see what free thinking and intention and expanded awareness of the unseen can bring about. The richness of our lives that can be expanded by the shifts in our lifestyle and our beliefs. Wow, what a powerful thing, our beliefs. And we all have them about some of the darndest things. But the more we really examine those, how many of those beliefs are really based on our really intense, free thought? Thought and conclusion, our own, or is it somebody else's? It sounded pretty good. Yeah, John thought that was cool, so I'm good for that. I'm good with that too. Maybe it was good for John, but is it good for me? Maybe it needs a little more thought. So here we are on this second Sunday of coming back together. And I think it's so important that we give thought to what we need from each other right now. What support, what healing, what encouragement. A lot of us have been truly victimized during this. Some have found new courage and strength, and this has been a real success, a learning experience, a building. Others have been shattered. And we all need to work together to where we can all be healthy again together. And we can do this. We have everything we need. We don't have to buy a thing. We just have to open up our hearts, put our beliefs aside, experience each moment as it is, truly listen when someone is speaking with us. Truly listen. We're going to end our service today with a song called Imagine. As we sing it, and over these next very special days, these Sundays for the next couple of months, I think are going to be very important as we bring to light new things that we might create, things that we might imagine, because we're in a perfect place to create something that we have never experienced before. I hope there stays familiarity and comfort in that. But I hope we don't go back to being the same old, same old. We were there. We loved it. It was comfortable. But I think there is so much that awaits us, so much more, that can enrich us beyond anything that we can actually think of today. But it takes a little bit of work. It takes effort, commitment. It takes imagination. Just imagine. And so it is.